thanks for the opportunity to sit here today and just give just an update on our team. It's been a great season thus far. We are in the midst of getting better every day. I still think this team has a lot of progress and a lot of work to do in terms of getting better. I still think we haven't reached that point yet, and so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the direction of the program and where we're headed. But more importantly, I'm excited about the young ladies that compete for us on a daily basis and come and give 110% every day. And so they're committed to getting better. They're committed to turning this program around. And so it's been a ton of fun being in the gym with them every day and just excited for these next few weeks to see what we do over the course of the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Hey, Tanya, I'm Michael Cobble. I work at Channel 2 here in Baton Rouge.
Hi, Michael.
Nice to meet you. Kind of like we were talking with Sean, just the draws. You guys have gone 5 sets a lot here recently. I guess just what does that say about the team and the fight that you guys have been able to perform with and exhibit out there on the court?
First, I think I take my hat off to them because just in terms of the stamina, and in terms of the teams that we've gone 5 sets with, and sometimes on back-to-back nights, and so I would say that our team has a lot of fight in them. There's no quit in them, and that's been fun to watch and be a part of. And I think I've heard people term us the cardiac tigers. You know what? And I'll take it. And I think Brian Kelly will say this too. It's not about how we start the match, but it's about how we finish the match. And I will take 5 sets all day long if we can get the win on the back end of that.
Hi, Coach. Coming off 2 wins against Alabama and South Carolina, what's your team's main focus leading up to the matchup against Mississippi State this weekend?
Mississippi State's a very good team. They've got a lot of upperclassmen returning, and they run a pretty fast offense. And so our goal this week, as we've worked a lot on our blocking and on our defense and how to defend that, and how we're gonna. I don't know that we'll be able to stop it, but we'll be able to slow it down. And so we've put a lot of work into that this week, but also making sure we're on all cylinders with our offense too. I don't think we had a very good offensive output against Alabama, but I thought we were pretty good on Sunday. And so continuing to work on that and continuing to get the confidence that they need from a setter-hitter standpoint and making sure we're making those connections when we need them the most.
Hey, Jason Willis with the Reveille. This question's kind of open to both of you. Just you said before the match with South Carolina that it was a game that you expected to win. So, what are your thoughts on kind of your team being able to show that they're able to, come out, take care of business, come out with a win against sort of a middling opponent versus earlier in the season where you've kind of struggled doing that against teams like Ole Miss, Alabama?
You want to answer first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for us as a team, I feel like the big theme this year has just been building confidence and like us believing that we can win and that we are a great team. And I feel like a lot of that has come from, the work we put in practice, summer, preseason, all of that. So I feel like now we're kind of coming into our confidence and being able to have the attitude that, we can do this, we can sweep teams, and just kind of making our statement.
I think the first 3 weeks of our SEC conference schedule was pretty tough. 8 matches in 3 weeks with some back-to-back opponents, a lot of ranked opponents. And we weren't able to train. We were just trying to manage. We were trying to manage jumps and making sure we weren't overtraining, but also making sure our kids had the stamina to compete 2 days in a row against quality opponents. And so that was kind of the goal those first 3 weeks. And over the course of the last couple of weeks, we've been able to train. We've been able to break some stuff down and get better at some things. And so, like I said, obviously Alabama, we started out slow, but I think it was because we had 10 days off of not competing. But on Sunday, we saw a totally different team, which is the team I'd like to see more often. And that was really fun to watch and be a part of.
Tanya and then Paige. Paige just mentioned the confidence. I guess from a coach's perspective, what are you seeing as far as the mental changes with this team to not, we talked about the physical a moment ago, but to kind of be the club that they want to be?
I've been talking to them all fall long about having confidence in themselves and believing in themselves and that we belong here. Where we are today, we belong here, and we can compete with anybody. And that's kind of been the talk every day since preseason, since we started preseason practice. It's just getting them to believe that they're good enough and that they're good enough to compete against the good teams across the country. And, we had a pretty tough preseason schedule, which I think has really set us up for the rest of the season and competing against, the likes of Iowa State, who just knocked off #1 Texas, competing against Penn State, competing against Rice and Houston, and all of those guys who are in the top 25 right now. And so we put them to the test very early on, and I think it's kind of paid off here in the end here. And so we'll continue to talk confidence. We'll continue to talk belief in themselves as individuals, but also as a team. And I just think we're continuing to make strides in that.
Yeah, and then I guess, Paige, just having some success early in a new coaching tenure tends to build the confidence in the staff that, they're doing it right? I guess, where is the team's mindset as far as the belief? You talked about the confidence, but just the overall, the idea that, yes, if we do what they ask, we have positive results.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, new staff, majority kind of new team. It was really hard at first, buying in. But once we started getting those big wins in preseason, the win against Kentucky most recently, I think we all kind of looked around the room and were like, oh, this is really working. Our training's paying off. And yeah, I think we all just kind of felt that change.
Okay. This one's for Paige. So the game against South Carolina was your first game since Kentucky hitting over 200. So what's kind of been your approach through what's kind of been a rough stretch, and how did it feel to kind of break out of that on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, my approach since that last game has been consistency and working on hitting higher shots. I've been working a lot in practice on that deep corner ball, and I really feel like that came through for South Carolina. So just personally for me in practice, I'm getting in there, working on hitting, a sharp line cross, working on getting all those consistent, and then just being able to make the right choice at the right time.
Okay, this one is for Coach. In the middle of the Alabama game, you made some adjustments, putting Maddie Walk as the full-time setter for the last 2 sets and putting in Sam as the right side hitter. So, you went back to the normal rotation for the next game, but can you explain those adjustments and kind of what it did for those players going into that South Carolina game?
Yeah, I think sometimes people don't understand, how we sub. We only get so many subs in a set. And so I wanted to make sure when I sub people out, obviously I sub Paige out that match, and it was the only sub that we could make at that time without getting ourselves in trouble if we were going long in that set. But obviously putting Sam in for Hannah and leaving Maddie Walk in the entire time, I just thought that Hannah struggled quite a bit, and I thought that Joe was struggling quite a bit too. And they'll tell you at the end of the day that it was a good decision, and they'll agree that, hey, we were struggling, you were right to make that adjustment. And I heard that from both of them. And so just trying to get new energy in and see if we could just do something, change it up just a little bit to get Alabama a little out of sorts. And for us, luckily enough, it worked. And so I just think sometimes we have a tendency to do that, but we're limited on subs because we're already making subs for the setting position and for Hannah, and then we sub in sometimes for a serving sub, sometimes for Aaliyah, and so we cut it pretty darn close, and so just trying to be smart with it and how we do that.